there, my friends. It's Shauna here with Reemerging Yoga. This is the fourth class in a series of 5 on beginning Yin Yoga. If you haven't seen the previous 3, please go back and watch those first if you're unfamiliar with Yin. Again, you're always welcome to join at any time and at any level. It's just that if you haven't ever done it before, you might get more benefit from going back to the beginning. However, today we're going to talk about meridians and how each Yin yoga pose will complement or focus on a different meridian in the body. And I will explain that more in voiceover as you're in each pose. And because we're in class 4, I'm not going to do that much explaining, overall. We're going to sort of move into more of a silent practice. However, I'm still going to show you modifications for new poses and remind you, if we have repeated poses, remind you what the modifications are. So enjoy. Friends, find yourself a comfortable landing spot, whether it is sitting or lying down. Get your props. If you haven't got your props all ready to go, you can pause the video now and go grab what you need. I've got what you don't see in shot are my 2 blankets, or my blanket and my pillow. I'm gonna bring that here. So I've got a thin blanket, I've got kind of a fat pillow. Remember, you can always fold up a towel for to substitute for blocks, and if you don't have blocks, you will definitely need a folded towel for the lung bench that we're about to do. And also, if you don't have blocks, you might need more than 1 pillow, just to sort of use 2 pillows stacked on each other, for the lung bench for your head. Okay, other than that, if you need lots of other props because you have, tightness and soreness, things to put under your hips, grab as many as you can. Remember, we like pillow forts. We like to have as much as we possibly need in the moment. And of course, you can always pause the video if you find that you don't have enough and you need some more support systems. So, okay, once you're there, once you've landed and you are sitting on a blanket or a block, just sort of try to find your ease here. If you can close your eyes, if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, do so. If not, you can just relax your gaze, and we're going to begin to focus on our breath. If you hear crunching in the background, that's my kitty Keisha having her snack right now in the middle of my video. That's fine. Breathing in, breathing out. If you remember that Ujjayi breathing technique that we talked about in a previous video, it's that slight restriction of your throat. So when you breathe in, you don't feel it as much, but when you breathe out, it's sort of like an oceany sound. It's has an immediate calming effect. And that's what we want. We want to start to invoke that yin energy here before we start our practice. One more deep breath in, and long and slow deep breath out. Hi, Keisha. Slowly open your eyes, and we're going to move into our first pose. We're going to start with lung bench today. And as you recall from our first 3 videos, we start every Yin session with either heart bench or lung bench. I'm going to use 1 block for my head and 1 to go across my lungs like this, like right about mid upper back, right around the nipple area is where this part is going to be sitting when you lay down. Remember to get a nice firm towel rolled up if you don't have a block, and a couple of pillows to use here. Remember to ground your feet by placing them on the mat flat. We're going to put the block this way and sort of guide ourselves with our thumbs onto it so that it's right at that sort of mid upper back area. And you can do the same with your head block. You just want to guide it to the base of your head, not into your neck. And we're here. Oh, it's not quite right. And we're here for 3 minutes. You can stretch your legs out long, or you can have them bent and resting on each other like this, remember. However you're comfortable. Palms can be up or down. It's up to you. I like to have mine up. So if you recall from earlier classes, we talked about how Yin Yoga is a combination of both Chinese and Indian philosophies coming in together to form this new form of yoga called Yin Yoga. And Yin Yoga incorporates use of the meridians, which is used in Chinese medicine, and the meridians are channels that conduct energy throughout the body. And these conduits form a network, and if the network is disrupted, or if blockages occur because it's disrupted, the body supposedly will not function properly. So Qi, Qing, and Shen, those are the forms of energy, the energy forces, like prana is in Indian philosophy. When they don't flow as they need to, the organs will not perform their functions and imbalances can arise. So when the meridians are clear and open, then energy flows freely and all is well once more. This is based on, again, 5,000-year-old plus science, Chinese medicine. So that's what we work off of, and so I will be explaining in each of the poses which meridians are being targeted and which organs are associated with those meridians. So lung bench can target both the lung meridian as well as the pericardium meridian. Respiratory problems like coughing, asthma, chest pains can signify lung meridian dysfunction. Also, extreme and persistent sadness and grief might also indicate problems here. And the pericardium area can show pain in the heart area, poor circulation, some tummy problems, and mental problems can also indicate disharmony in this area. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Bring your feet up and plant them on the floor, grounding them. You can either, to come out of this, you can either grab onto your mat and plant your elbows down to pull yourself up, or you can roll off of your block or your towel and come up to a seated position. You can either stay sitting on your blanket if you have one, or if you're already on one. It's probably preferable if you do so. And this is called square. So if you're seated in a position similar to mine, all we're going to do for that is you're going to sort of bring your right leg out a little bit away from your body, and we're going to pick up our left leg and bring it over the top of the right leg. This is kind of like that traditional yogi position that you see people sitting in all the time. Now, this might immediately, you might be going, no, that's not going to happen. And that's totally fine. So if you have sensitive ankles, or if your ankle is just not going to do that, you can do that. That's okay. That's okay. So all we're trying to do is open your hips here and get some widening of this area here, okay? When you stack your leg here, having the weight of this, your left leg on your right leg, sort of helps to open up your left hip, but it also pushes down on your right hip and just does a total opening thing. But if you're not there yet, not a problem. Don't ever force it. Remember, we don't want pain. Also, if you want to just cushion yourself here, go right ahead and do so. So get in any position that's similar to this and use all the supports that you need. And also remember, you can kind of do this lying down. So I'm going to just give this to you really quickly. As a reminder, you can lie down and do a half one of these. I forget which pose we did this for, but you can do a half one of these, okay? If that's enough, lying down with your head on the ground, obviously, okay? And then, all right, so however you need to get that hip opener stretch, inner knee stretch. What else is it stretching? Your ankles, giving your ankle a nice stretch as well. Okay, so once you're in position, we'll sit here for 3 minutes. You want to close your eyes or relax your gaze. Sit up nice and tall. Relax your hands, relax your feet, relax your facial muscles. Have your chin slightly tilted down and focus on your breath. So square pose targets both the kidney and the spleen meridians. The disharmony of the kidney meridian is suggested by gynecological problems or genital disorders and problems in the kidneys, lungs, and throat. So examples might include impotence, frequent urination, and weakness in the lower limbs. And emotional problems might also occur related to anxiety and fear. And for the spleen, indications of spleen disharmony include stomach problems, flatulence, vomiting and bloating, and unreasonable worry might also arise. And so just so you know, just because the location of your spleen or your kidney is not being particularly stretched at the moment, it's the way the meridians are branched out and connected throughout your body that makes each pose specifically targeted to each meridian. So if you were to do a Google map of the Chinese meridian maps, you'll kind of see the branches there. And I don't think that I need to go too much into that part of it for this. One more deep breath in, one more deep breath out. And you can open your eyes slowly and help your legs out of this pose by pulling one knee up and then the other. And then you can sort of put your arms behind you and windshield wiper your legs out a little bit. And now we're going to do the other leg because we have to be in balance. So whatever you did as far as props goes on one side may not be what you need to do on the other side. So you feel it out and decide what you need, because obviously our sides are different. So some sides might be tighter than others or more flexible than others. It just depends on you and your body. So take a moment to grab whatever props you need. This time you're going to cross your right leg over your left leg if that's available to you. Otherwise you can do it lying down like I showed you with the first leg. Get in a comfortable position, take a deep breath in, and here we are for 3 minutes. Take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. And like you did with the first side, you're going to help uncross your legs with your hands and plant your feet onto the ground, placing your hands behind you and giving yourself a little windshield wiper break here. Okay, and from here we're going to come into a tabletop position very slowly and carefully, shoulders stacked over your wrists. And what we're going to do in a second is bring your right knee up. So you're going to kind of bring your right foot in between your two hands, and sometimes it's hard. My leg gets stuck a lot, so I have to help it with my hands. And then once your knee is there, you're going to straighten yourself up. Now, before you do this, if you need a blanket under your knees, just to give yourself a little bit of padding, go ahead and do that. Also, I'm going to show you a way to use the wall. If you're having problems bringing your knee forward, you can just use the wall to help you do this low lunge, or you can put a chair in front of you if that is helpful. I'm also going to be using the blocks in this one in just a minute, so if you have blocks or books or something that's going to help bring the ground up to your hands, that might be helpful. So just know this is one of those ones that can be a little fiddly at first. You're just going to have to experiment with what works for you, and don't be afraid to experiment while you're in the pose and shift around as you need to, especially if you end up lunging, gravity takes you too far, too fast, and it ends up feeling painful rather than a nice stretch. All right, so I'm using the blocks, and I'm letting my right hip crease come back, and I'm getting a nice stretch down the front of my left thigh, and I'm breathing in. I want my head to be in line with my spine, and just deepen your breath here, closing your eyes. And remember, this can be a challenging one, and so if it is, just come back to that breath and that mantra of I am breathing in and I am breathing out. So dragon pose, which is similar to crescent lunge or low lunge in traditional yoga, it targets the gallbladder, kidney, liver, spleen, and stomach meridians. So we've already talked about the kidney and spleen, so I'll talk about gallbladder here in this side, and then I'll talk about the liver and stomach in our second leg. But the gallbladder meridian, if you have an imbalance here, you might have frequent headaches, blurred vision, and pains along the side of the body, including eyes, ears, and throat. And those can all be indications of problems with the gallbladder meridian. Take one more deep breath in here and a deep breath out. And now to come out of this pose, you're just going to shift your weight back a bit into your left leg and kind of scoot your arms back or your hands back as you can so that you can very easily pull your leg back behind you or back into that tabletop position. And then you can rest back on your heels if you like, and just take a moment because that's kind of an intense stretch. But we're going to go straight into the other side here. So get yourself situated with your blocks or your chair or the wall, whatever you need. Taking a deep breath in, and this time you're going to bring your left leg forward between your hands and kind of, rest into that left hip crease, feeling the stretch in your right quad. using your blocks as you need to. And don't lunge too far if it's too, if it's hurting you or if the stretch is too intense. That's what gravity's for. We're not trying to force ourselves into this stretch. We're just trying to slowly get there. The main focus is on the breath, as always, and finding stillness here as is comfortable to you. And as I mentioned, we're going to talk about the other two meridians that this pose targets, and that's the liver and the stomach. So when you have problems or blockages or disturbances in the liver meridian, you can be experiencing low back pain, abdominal pain, even mental disturbances might be a sign of disharmony here. Frequent or unreasonable anger or irritation can also be a sign of liver dysfunction. So the stomach meridian, like the spleen meridian, also deals with problems that might be indicated by abdominal problems, such as bloating, vomiting, pain in any of the areas that the meridian passes through, and it passes through the mouth, nose, teeth, etc. And you can look at a map, like I said before, online that shows you, if you're really interested in this stuff, that is, which areas of the body that the meridians pass through. Also, mental problems can also be a indicator of a disturbance in the stomach meridian. Taking one more deep breath in here, and one more deep breath out. Keisha is just not leaving me alone today. You can gently open your eyes and shift your weight back towards your right leg and walking your hands back towards you so that you can bring that left leg under you, and then just sit back on your heels and rest for a second before we go into our next pose. We've done this one before. The next pose is going to be child's pose. And if you are familiar, if you remember from our previous classes, we did a couple of modifications on how to get into child's pose. So we've got this modification where I use two blocks sort of in a line and a pillow or a bolster and a blanket on top of that, and I kind of straddle it just like my knees are as wide as my mat, and I scooch up a little bit and use that hole between the blocks, but you can use books or towels or whatever to bring my hands through and rest my upper body on that pillow. And I want to be able to turn my head one way for the first half, and then the other way for the second half. But if you don't need that kind of prop, you can use a blanket under your knees. You can use one between your knees. Just go back to those other videos if you need to. So we're going to scoot our bottom back and kind of rest our weight into our heels there, walking our hands in front of us and sinking or melting your heart towards the mat, resting your forehead gently there. You can use a block or a pillow to rest your head on if that's helpful. And just breathe here, nice and even. it's a practice, and it takes a lot of practice to get used to stillness, believe me. Still working on it. The meridians that we focus on, or that the child's pose focuses on, are spleen, stomach, and small intestine. So we've talked about the spleen and the stomach, but we haven't talked about the small intestine. And disharmony in the small intestine meridian might be indicated by ear, eye, or stomach problems, deafness or pain in the lower abdomen, or pain in the shoulders or neck could be signs of disharmony in the small intestine. We're definitely not saying, or I'm not saying, or Yin Yoga isn't saying that if you unblock, the meridian of the small intestine, that you're suddenly going to be able to hear if you're deaf. That's not, or that if you're deaf, you've got blockages in your small intestine. That is not how this works. It's not a blockage in the small intestine itself. It's talking about the energy channel that travels throughout the body and feeds particularly the small intestine. So it's a lot more complex than what I'm going into here. I'm just talking about very brief touch points. So and again, it's all online Chinese medicine I'm talking about, and meridians, if you want to really kind of investigate a certain area further. Taking your last deep breath in and letting it all go here as you slowly open your eyes and start to gently walk yourself back towards your legs. You can push yourself all the way up to a seated position. From here, you can just sit on your bottom and swing your lower legs out in front of you, centering yourself on your mat. And then you need a block or a folded towel or a pillow that's going to go under your sacrum area, just above your tailbone, because we're going into supported bridge pose here. So when you lay yourself down, make sure that you have that prop or support next to you. So laying down, your feet are flat on the floor, knees bent, and they're up towards your sit bones. Your heels are towards your sit bones, and then just gently lift your hips up towards the sky and grab your prop and place it there under your sacrum. It's that flat, bony area just above your tailbone. Your shoulder blades are going to tuck in just a bit under you. Your arms are going to come out by your side, palms up. Your chest comes towards your chin, and your chin comes up to the sky. Closing your eyes here and just relax. This should feel good. This is a restorative pose, so there should be no pain or not even any tension here, because we're not stretching anything really. It's just it's sort of a back bend, but it's a supported back bend, so it should feel nice. If it doesn't, we need to readjust what we're doing here. Just, this is a comfortable position. Breathing deeply. So the supported bridge pose targets the urinary bladder meridian, and signs of disharmony here in the bladder can include backaches, headaches, an inability to go to the bathroom, to urinate, also mental problems and diseases of the lower limbs. Remember that when you are in these poses in the stillness, begins to grate on you a little bit, that you can always come back to your breath. And thoughts aren't a bad thing. Having those thoughts that, of the things that you might need to do, anything that has been bothering you, that you might be bringing with you in this moment of stillness, just watch them like a movie, as though you are just somebody who's not involved in these thoughts. Just sort of casually observe them with no judgment and let them move on by, and kind of then just come back to your breath. I am breathing in, I am breathing out. Take your final deep breath in here in supported bridge pose, and a deep breath out. And then gently lift your hips up and pull out that prop that you have underneath you, whether it's your block or your pillow or whatever. And then gently bring your hips back down to the ground and slowly straighten your legs out. We're coming into Shavasana now. So grab all the props that you need to make yourself super, super comfy. I've got a pillow under my knees. I've got a pillow under my head. It might be chilly where you are, so put a blanket over you if you need to keep your warmth going. Just be snugly. And have your shoulders tucked slightly underneath you. Hands and arms outstretched, palms facing up, relaxing your forehead and all of your facial muscles, and just allow yourself to sink in and enjoy this time that you've carved out for yourself. Set anything that you might be trying to get to today aside and give yourself this time. That all can wait. Just focus on your breath, breathing in, and what that feels like, whether you focus on the sound of your in-breath or the feeling of it. Just allow it to take you just deeper into this moment of presence. And before I let you go into silence here, just to let you know that Shavasana, also called corpse pose, as far as the meridians go, it provides a holistic and overall body restoration and relaxation, and that ultimately affects all the meridians throughout your body. And so that's why I've stressed over and over again, and I will continue to. Shavasana is one of the most important poses in your yoga practice, yin yoga or traditional or otherwise. If you need a longer Shavasana, as always, you are most welcome and encouraged to stay here. If you need to move, get some life back in your fingers and toes. You can bat your eyes open if you like, or you can keep them closed. Give yourself a little stretch with your arms overhead and your legs out, and then roll over onto your right side. It doesn't really matter what side, but roll over onto your side and take a moment in fetal position. Just a breath there. and then gently push yourself up to sitting. And when you're here and getting into a comfortable seat, just take a breath, take a moment. You can have your eyes open or closed. And this is where you can put your hands to your heart, hands together in prayer at your heart, bend your forehead down to your hands, and give thanks for this time, for this moment. And I thank you for joining me. Namaste.